Welcome once again, folks, to another session of Let's Chat with me, Meor Addelan. Now, who on earth doesn't have a smart device or a computer or a laptop? I can bet you that many, if not most Malaysians out there, at least, you would have a smartphone. Because why? Because everything is so digitally enhanced right now. You can't live without your social media. You cannot do anything without buying something online. Basically, much has gone on digital. And to discuss about today's topic, it's digital or nothing at all, we have a very special guest here on the show. Ladies and gents, may I introduce to you Mr. Chris Spinzer Tock. Let's just go on a broader spec right now, because when we talk about digital marketing specifically when it comes to companies, it is involving a lot of stuff, isn't it, when you talk about digital marketing? So can you share with our audiences what actually consists when you talk about digital marketing?
Which in fact, I can't even explain this to you, because as you said, it's an evolving thing. Every year, or even half a year, or even a quarter of a year, you have something new that comes out. And the last being the TikTok, platforms like TikTok, and also the upcoming esports generation. So digital marketing involves all of these things, because it's basically where you can market your brand, right? And some people don't even understand that even the Steam is an app that you can play games from, is also considered a social network, which is all part of digital marketing ecosystem, so you speak. So what is digital marketing? It is basically platforms or channels that you can do activities, marketing activities, and it can be anything, right? It can range from content, it can range from ads, it can range to even simple things like finding your life partner. And there's something you missed earlier, right? Why people are online, it's not so much of all these other things, but to find their life partners. So I think digital marketing is such a big, wide scope that it can't be explained to you in just one short sentence. And that's why we are talking about it today.
Does this mean that, it is all or nothing when it comes to digital marketing with business owners, with SME owners? What do you think?
So my opinion is that digital marketing is what we call an augmentation of something that still needs to be done, which is very much offline marketing. The most effective digital marketing campaigns that I've run, and I've seen most of my peers and seniors and the gurus, what they have done is the ones that are 360, right? Something that is done offline to get the kind of reputation, to get the kind of hands-on experience with online, which is where most of us live, right? As you rightly pointed out, you have how many hours do you spend on the social media, on browsing websites? And that's the kind of eyeballs and presence that you require in order to basically close sales.
When you talk about offline, okay, you talk about your conventional media, you talk about your print ad, you talk about having billboards by the side of the highway. Now, when you from KL, when you drive down to Wangi, you will not miss all of the billboards that's at the side of the road. People are still spending on billboards, on highway banners and everything, and it's not really going away at all. From what I see, it's adding more and more. Why are still people interested in having these kind of marketing exercises and not just concentrate on digital?
So what you have noticed is the way that people are marketing through these billboards. It's no longer in the past where it's just a visual and ask you to call number. Now you have people saying scan my QR code, or find this hashtag, or basically a way to engage with them. Because what's missing out from traditional marketing is engagement, right? You have a call, basically a call to action, very clear, but people want engagement, and that's what the digital marketing environment provides. So billboards are now turning into what they call as digital billboards, where you can do videos, you can do engagement, you can ask people to create a TikTok video, to say how you consume something like Milo. So it's about interaction, and that's what you get in the real life into online.
Now, we see a lot of exercises out there where people buy AdWords, people be active on SEO, that search engine optimization and everything. That was the game 5 years ago. People buying AdWords, but is it still the same thing right now? Do people still invest a lot in buying all of these keywords, or just prefer to just go on your new things like your TikToks or your Instagram ads and Facebook ads? Would that suffice?
That's an excellent question. It really depends on the industry. Just like how you do traditional advertising, right? You don't just put your ads out on newspaper when you're a very niche market that you want to just look at a certain magazine who is catering to this certain target market. So when you plan your digital marketing, it's not like, okay, I need to be on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I mean, honestly, do you even have the kind of money to spend to create content in all these platforms? And please don't ever do the mistake of creating one content and spread it to all platforms. It just doesn't work that way. So it's all about getting to know who are your target audience, what kind of like a user journey that they have to go through in order to make that purchase. And from there, then you start to realize that, okay, I should be doing on more TikTok, or I should be doing more on Facebook, or even maybe your business is more video centric. So, or rather, the best way to talk about your brand or product is through a video. So maybe it's preferable that you go through YouTube videos. And furthermore, you're not only talking about your own internal product channels, you're also talking about external channels. So you have all these KOLs or key opinion leaders that you want to engage in all these different platforms. So it's really based on your target market and how you want to engage with them.
How cheap can you be? Because I've heard rumors saying that you can just spend $10 and then you can get thousands and thousands of impressions. Is that good enough?
No, unfortunately, as a digital agency, I have to recorrect a lot of these misconceptions. There are people promoting that you can, do Facebook advertising or digital marketing with zero budget. Yes, to a certain extent, when you want to kickstart something off, but usually it's because then you get a better idea of, trying to find the best audience, the best segment, the best channel, and then you need to then set a number of budget aside to do this. Now, the good news is that because of all this COVID situation and MCO, the kind of budget that you used to spend on all this traditional advertising is basically unspent, right? So it's a good time to actually transfer that budget into digital marketing, because what you're going to get is at least 5 to 10 times the ROI that you will get in the traditional advertising.
So what you're saying is, I just want to get it on record, that zero budget marketing does not exist. Is that true?
It does exist, but to what level? I mean, are you selling, are you selling cookies to, a bunch of friends and family, or are you selling, your product that is worth 200 ringgit that, that a certain segment of market would need to have, and the kind of like business, the kind of revenue that you can earn, multiplied and scale to a different level with all your Lazadas and Shopees. So I'm talking about like scalability, and no, with zero marketing budget, you can't achieve that.
Yeah, reason being why I asked you this is because I know for a fact that there's this online company that I used to work before. They used to spend 8,000 USD a day on online digital marketing. And well, it was for about 6 months, but you can do the math yourself, because I'm going to fail at that. But they needed that much money to be where they are right now, and there's no two ways about it. They are huge right now. So does that mean that people with basically bottomless pockets, with bottomless resources, definitely has a head start against all of these newcomers coming in?
Now, I would disagree with that. I would think that digital marketing, it has basically leveled the playing ground, where people only people with bottomless pocket could afford your paper ads, or radio ads. Now with a lot less budget, you can already start to market or advertise your products and services in the digital platforms. And also, it depends on which platform that you want to advertise on. Some are more expensive, like LinkedIn, and some are cheaper, like Facebook. So it really depends on like the kind of like marketing budget that you have. But here's the good news: if you do it right, and you can basically see the flow from what we call is the top of the funnel marketing to the bottom of the funnel marketing, you can see that it works for you, that your cost per click and cost per conversion is basically maybe 30 ringgit for every 200 ringgit product that you sell. You will want to just open a tab and pour your money into digital marketing, because you can create the result that you want. So it's very calculated, as opposed to traditional advertising, where it's more of like agak-agak lah.
So basically, what you're trying to say is that this is not just a one-time hit the jackpot, that kind of a thing. This requires research. This requires trials, right?
Yep, and proper planning, which is why agencies like us exist. We understand that not everybody would understand how things work, and kudos to those of you who have taken the MCO times to learn more about digital marketing, learn how to develop websites, learn how to create content that works. But most often than not, you want a senior, you want a person who is expert in digital marketing to assist you with your projects. And after that, you can use that learning to do even more. And then people like us will have to push a level further from getting your hundred thousands of revenue to 1 million over revenue to 10 millions of revenue, and this can be achieved because of digital marketing.
But to hire a person such as yourself, your company and everything, that's going to be more money than any SME owners can actually afford right now. So does that mean that within the budget that they have, can they still do it by themselves, or they need somebody who is from the industry such as yourself, Spinzo?
So this is where you do a pro and cons on whether you want to get to an agency or do you want to hire your own people. And the cons for hiring your own people is definitely a lot. Like, you don't know whether that person knows how to do that work, because if chances are you cannot afford a good agency, then you can only afford that particular person. Now, it's not to say that person is bad. In fact, you might want to have an internal digital marketing person working with an agency, so the internal marketing person can learn from the agency and at some point you can have your own team. And as a digital agency, let me just quickly point out to you that we offer everything from copywriting to content planning to doing all the research for you to get to knowing all the trends. I mean, and even one more thing I have to say: working hours managing the comments and the inboxes is not something that you would pay one person to do. You see, so imagine hiring an agency like us that can cost between 7,000 to 10,000 ringgit a month, and that for that kind of thing if you have to hire your own digital marketing person, not inclusive of your graphic designers, not inclusive of your multimedia designers, you want to create videos, not inclusive of your copywriters, I mean, all those things and would have costed you more than 15,000 already.
What will happen within the next 2 to 5 years in regards of the digital world? How more competitive it will be, or will it just die down as how Friendster died a few years ago?
So digital marketing is, if there's anything I want to say, it is not a fad. It is going to be happening, and it's going to go towards areas that we can only dream of or even watch a movie. I mean, you've watched a lot of all these futuristic movies where you see augmented reality and virtual reality coming to our our environment, and it's going to happen. As payments become more wireless, as we consume more and more video, there are a lot more channels that is going to be catered towards these things. So while I cannot guarantee that any social networks, like Facebook, Twitter, TikTok will continue to be present 5 years down the road, at least I can say that digital marketing as a whole will be something that you want to invest to, because as any new platform comes out, the kind of like idea behind it, the kind of creative solutions behind it will always remain the same. For example, we have started embarking into esports marketing, where we market products and services for our brands in the world of esports. And I don't need to say, but if you have children and you can see, or even your cousins that are young, 17, 15, 12 years old, they are all glued to their phones playing games or watching people play games. So imagine the kind of like future that these guys will be born into, and how can we capture their attention in terms of selling that product or services while consuming those kind of content. So it always changes, it always evolves, which is why I love my job, because it's an evolving industry. And it's perfect for people like me who I can't wait to see what happens next and how we can engage the consumers more for our brands, or even our clients for that matter. And it's just so many exciting things is going to happen, and we are at the forefront of it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of more interesting things that will definitely happen down the road. Whether you like it or not, all you have to do is just be geared up and be prepared for it and able to adapt to it as well.
Sorry, I just want to say that even your video, this new way of interviewing people would not happen if not for MCO. So we live in a really exciting time, and it's up to you to make use of this digital platform that we are in now.
Exactly. Hence why I say adapt. We adapt to the new norm. We adapt to how things are. We adapt to how the current situation is to serve us better, because all of this are tools at the end of the day, and we are the master of the tools. We need to utilize them as best as we can. Spencer Tock, thank you so much for coming onto the show. Really appreciate it. Talking to us about it's digital or nothing at all. It's been very insightful, and thank you so much for coming onto the show. You take care now. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Cheers. All right. That was Spencer Tock talking to us about it's digital and it's not going to go away. You might as well get on the bus, get on the train, and equip yourself as much as you can, because if you do not, then you're going to be left behind and you may stay irrelevant. You don't want that, right? Of course you don't. That's all, folks, for this particular episode of Let's Chat. Hope to see you guys again on the next one. You guys take care. Bye-bye.